Hello ladies and gentlemen, I am the Omniviewer, and as you can see, the 2019 version of Rodan from NECA has finally arrived. And you know the drill, that means I'm gonna take it out of the box and do a little figure review. So first I want to show you how it looks in the box itself, and in particular I want to show you how it looks in contrast with this. Because I noticed a lot of people were expressing some concern about how Rodan would turn out because the promotional images, like this one right here, made him look kind of like a medium gray color as opposed to the reds or browns that we saw him depicted as in the movie. Although, like in the case of this movie poster on the front, the red was mostly artistic interpretation. In the movie, he's definitely a bit more brownish, but, you know, he still wasn't really this color. So people were worried about how that would turn out. I think it's safe to say it's just a matter of lighting because, as you can see, the figure is more in line with what we saw in the film as opposed to this image here. But enough about that. I want to get this out of the box and see how it fares. So here are all the pieces once they are out of the box. We have Rodan himself, the standing rod, the base and the explosion that comes with it. It's interesting that they're two separate pieces. And the second head with the mouth open. Now I'm gonna zoom in a little bit here. A lot of people, when they discovered that Rodan would have two switchable heads instead of just one head with a jaw hinge, they weren't really sure why NECA did that. It seemed like a weird choice. Why not just give him a mouth that can open? However, if you look inside here, and you can see where the head actually connects, and then you realize how tiny the head really is, I can sort of understand the choice. I'm not saying that it would have been impossible to include a jaw hinge, but, you know, I guess I understand why they went with switchable heads instead of trying to make a jaw hinge that small. So I looked this up in advance. What you do to switch the heads out is you get a grip on the top and bottom or on the sides and just pull, and then it should just pop right back in. I'll make sure of this away from the camera. So that's how he looks with his open mouth head in, and that's the head he has in all of the different promotional images. And the detail on the figure, since I'm up this close, really nice work right here. I mean, just look at all of that. Every single inch of him has something going on. There's a nice little gradient going from the darker parts of him into the lighter edges of his tail and wings, just like in the movie. So now I'm gonna put it together and see how it looks all assembled. So assembly-wise, there's a little hole in the base of the explosion that should line up with a little peg in the base itself. So, and let's see. I guess it goes like this, because there's a little notch in here. I don't see one in the explosion, but I think there's this flatter section that should line up with it. That looks about right. There's a hole in the top of the explosion in which the peg sits. Gotta really shove it in there. And the device holds Rodan like that. And there it is, fully assembled. So it should be noted that unlike with Mothra, where the rod was designed to actually hold the body and sort of snap her into place, Rodan just sort of rests in the stand here, which makes sense. That's about the only way you could fit him. There is a little notch that protrudes out the back to support him that way, But otherwise, you want to be very careful of where you put him. You want to make sure he's in a place where something isn't going to knock him over too easily. Detail-wise, when it all is together, looks really good. It's interesting the rod isn't quite straight in the explosion. Although, I should note, the little Monarch 56 base down here also looks really good, and the explosion is translucent. Let me get a flashlight so I can show you. As you can see, yeah, if you can find a way to sort of backlight it somehow, it looks really cool that way. And as far as articulation goes, let's see. We have both of his legs, his neck and his head, his wings at the shoulders, and in the midsection. So you can sort of fold them or fully extend them. That's actually a feature that the SH Monster Arts version doesn't have. The wings there are just one solid thing. I suspect this was partly to fit him in the box because he comes with his wings folded up, but it also allows for more options in terms of posing. And another detail that's actually really good, let me get the other head so I can hopefully show you in greater detail. On the, come on, focus. You're not gonna focus, are you? Well, this is about as close as I can get. It's hard to see, but there actually is a pupil painted into the eyes. So they're not just plain yellow dots. He actually does have pupils in there. That's how good the detail is on this figure. And overall, yeah, I would say Rodan looks really good here. Just so you get the full effect, there's Mothra, and there's Godzilla. Gang's all here. This is how they all look together, and yeah, that's gonna make for a nice display. Rodan's not bad, I gotta say. The figures for this Rodan have actually been really good. First there was the Jakks Pacific one, which wasn't as detailed, but for a Jakks Pacific kaiju was really good. And now, of course, NECA has done this. If there's anything I would have to complain about or say could have been done better, I mean, I already addressed the two heads thing, but I thought that was understandable. As far as other things, though, the gap between the wings and the tail is just way too wide. In other depictions of him, you know, it's all just one solid mass across. There's no separation. Here, there's a clear separation that comes with the mold. They probably could have figured something out to close the gap just a little. Or maybe they couldn't have, I don't know. But, you know, otherwise, I'd say this is really good. And, I mean, for as much as I said about how he just rests there, he's actually pretty stable in there. Check it out. He balances quite well. So there you have it. NECA 2019 Rodan with base and explosion and standing rod. I like it. I certainly think this is a worthwhile figure. Well, that's the three major monsters down. This one especially makes me look forward to seeing if NECA does anything with the other incarnations of Rodan and Mothra. Because, as I mentioned before, they did announce they have the license to those characters, not just for the 2019 film, but for other incarnations of them potentially. So if they're anything like what they've produced so far with these two, I would say we've got some great stuff to look forward to if they ever decide to move forward. But those are just my thoughts on it all. So until such time as we meet again, this is the Omniviewer signing off. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like it as well as subscribe to the channel for more content of a similar nature. Also, check the description for links to our Twitter, DeviantArt, and Patreon pages, as well as the Amazon link for the novel Operation Red Dragon: The Daikaiju Wars Part 1, penned by yours truly. Thank you all, and we appreciate your support.